It's one of those cheap Countyline, I think it's 25-ton log splitter. I put an auto cycle valve on it, and really the only reason I'm making a video is because I couldn't find anybody else that did a conversion like this on a cheapy little log splitter like this. So it's a Prince auto cycle valve. For me, it's there to speed the machine up a little bit. I work by myself a lot. It probably speeds me up by, a third, if not better, depending on how far I got to go get the wood and stuff. But with two people, it's a lot better, and I honestly think it's a bit safer too. There's folks that would argue that it's more dangerous than the way they come stock. If the log splitter would have originally came with a double detent valve that hang off the side here, it'll detent, it'll auto return, but it won't auto split. If it would have had a double detent, I wouldn't have made this change, and I could have spent the money and just put the double detent on it, but I chose to go full bore and just do the auto cycle valve because I really like it, and I want to do some further modifications on this. So this is how I ended up setting mine up. I happen to have some square, like 1x1 tube steel, and made a bit of a frame, and then it's got 3 bolt holes to mount it. Everything I bought from Surplus City or Surplus Liquidators, whatever you call it, that online magazine catalog. The hoses and stuff are actually relatively inexpensive. I mean, I probably have, I think it's $450 in the valve, and then probably $80 to $100 in the fittings and things that I put on it. So, all that stuff together probably ended up costing almost half as much as what the entire log splitter did when I bought it new several years ago. These are up to like $1,500 now. It's the same unit. I think they sell under Craftsman at Lowe's. I think it's made by company TYM, if I remember correctly. The reason I know that is because I did some research trying to figure out what the damn fittings were on this cylinder. Didn't realize there was going to be so much trouble. It's 1/2-inch pipe thread on this end, and it's an O-ring flat face fitting on this end. And I think it's metric. I tried a standard NPT flat face fitting. It's not that. The threads are finer. It's not the same size. I tried a British one. It's not that. It might be metric. Couldn't figure it out. Looking at the manual, of course, they just have their own proprietary numbering part number system. So after the third try of trying to get this damn fitting, I finally broke down and just cut the one that was on it, which was 1/2-inch male pipe thread. I drilled it out to match the 5/8 inch JIC fitting and I welded it to it. I tried to do as clean a job as I could. It also had to be quite strong because you have to connect these two spools together at these 2 different ports, and there's probably 20 different ways you could have done this, but this has just happened to be the way that I worked out. I can still stand the thing up if I need to. I did split some bigger stuff. I didn't really plan on having the hoses to be long enough, but it worked out that way, which was good. That probably is going to come to an end when I modify this and swap the plate and the wedge to make it a little more effective for what I'm trying to do. You see, I added a table to the side. When I bought the machine, I think you could get the bolt-on work table for like $45 or $50. Now they're like $60. I said, I can make that. Of course, that went a couple of years till I finally got around to doing it. I had some stainless steel open grating from a scrap bin, and add a little bit of conduit there to protect the engine. I mean, it's worked out well. It saves my back a little bit. I can throw a piece up there while another piece is splitting. I'd like to extend it a little bit, maybe put a bar out here and kind of make a little bit of a cradle so shit doesn't roll down in there. I could even keep 2 pieces there or something, but it's a pain in the butt to use this splitter this way. I think it's kind of ridiculous the way they set this thing up. A traditional log splitter usually had an I-beam that this rode on. This thing rides down in this stupid channel here, which would be fine, except you get all this debris that clumps up at the end, and you got to keep it cleared out. So it has these holes here But inevitably, you're going to get stuff that's going to jam in here, and you got to clean it out and all this shit. So, so the next project's going to be, take this wedge off and move it down here. I'll probably cut it off, and I'd like a higher wedge. I'd like something 2 inches higher than what this thing is down at the end, and then open up the channel so that all that debris can just get pushed out. And then, in the process of taking this plate off and putting a wedge here, leave this open, and then put a table. And it's a pretty common thing you see with some other log splitter designs. But I would have much rather had a $2,500, $3,500 nice log splitter that had hydraulics and stuff. But this is what I bought at the time, and there's really nothing wrong with the machine. It could be a little bit faster. It doesn't really need to be much stronger. 25 tons seems to be more than enough for anything I split. So really, I'm just trying to make the whole process a little bit easier on me. Put a table there so whenever I can auto cycle it, all that split wood is out of the way and it's ready for another piece. And then as I have time, I can unload the table or just let it push into a pile, whatever. But right now, there's just too much. It's a clusterfuck. It's a clusterfuck. So plumbing, it's pretty straightforward. I try to keep all my fittings and hoses as open as possible, even though I do have some restrictions like that 1/2 inch there, and it's 1/2 inch down there at the pump. Opening up everything to 3/4 inch and 5/8 of an inch. It probably doesn't help much, but it didn't cost much more to go with the bigger hoses. So I just made the conscientious decision to just stick to bigger stuff and not neck everything down. I would rather had a cylinder that had 3/4 inch ports, but I don't, and I'm not spending $400 or $500 on a new cylinder when that one works fine. So I'm going to try to take care of it. When I did this work, I bled all the oil, whatever came out of the cylinder, and I threw that out and then topped it off with fresh. And when I get new, when I run it for a year or two, I'm going to do 10 cords this year, so I'll probably change the oil out and change the filter because it hasn't been done yet since I bought it new. That's about it. Like I said, Prince auto cycle valve. I even took the time to put a gauge in because I thought it would help for setting detent and pressure and everything. And the detent pressure could probably be turned up a little bit on the split. But if it does bounce back, I can just hold it and it'll finish the split until it gets to the very end. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I figured it out. Didn't have any leaks. My weld didn't break over there yet, even though there's a good bit of stress on that. Just kind of mechanical stress from the flex of those short, fat hoses. But like I said, any asshole could do this, but it costs a couple bucks. But if it saves your back and reduces the amount of time you can, spend splitting and being outside in inclement weather, I think it's worthwhile doing. So, thanks for watching.